This video should be used to help with solving triangle similarity with what we call bow tie triangles. In bow tie triangles, you have two sides that are parallel, and your other two sides intersect like this. They form what looks like a bow tie. Remember back to semester 1, parallel lines cut by transversals told us that we had some congruent angles. Specifically in this case, we have angle B congruent to angle Y. This is a transversal, alternate interior angles are congruent. In addition, angle W is congruent to angle T for the same reason. As a transversal, alternate interior angles are congruent. We also have vertical angles that we can mark congruent. We start it this way because now we can see exactly what our congruent angles are, which helps us write our similarity statement. The way that you write your first triangle isn't very important. If I named it triangle BOW, it's the same as if I named it OBW, any order. The trick is naming your second triangle in the same order that you named your first. Since I named it angle or triangle BOW, I need to start with the angle that is congruent to angle B. Angle B is congruent to angle Y, so I start it with angle Y. Angle O is congruent to this other angle O, or angle TOY, so I have O second, and angle W is congruent to angle T, so I have T last. Once you have your triangle similarity statement, you can use the order to identify corresponding sides to set up proportions and solve for X and Y. Starting with X, what we see is that X is this side BO. BO matches up with YO, so I can match it up here. There's one ratio, X over X minus 3, in my proportion. The other ratio is going to come from another set of proportional sides, but if I use the one with Y, I can't solve it. So I'm going to go and look at the one with my number, in this case 10. 10 is segment WO. WO is going to be proportional with TO, and that's this side here. There's my second ratio, 10 over 8. Once you have your two ratios, you have your proportion, you cross multiply to solve. X times 8 is 8x. It equals 10 times, make sure we have parentheses here, x minus 3 is 10x minus 30. I'll go through the algebra quickly. Hopefully we don't need help solving an equation. But if I subtract 10x on both sides, I get negative 2x equals negative 30. I divide both sides by negative 2, and I get x equals positive 15. To solve for y, I do a very similar process, only this time I'm going to have 5y, which is BW, match up with YT. YT is y plus 6. I set up my ratios. 5y over y plus 6 equals, I already had one ratio that was just all numbers. That's the one I want to use again. I'll use 10 over 8 again. Go ahead, cross multiply and solve. Press pause and then unpause it to check your work. Hopefully we found that y was equal to 2. The last step in these problems will often be to identify a scale factor. Remember, when we're identifying scale factor, it's important that we write it as a fraction, simplified. I named my triangles with the triangle on the left first, triangle on the right second. However you named your triangles is going to indicate the order you write your scale factor. Whichever triangle you write first should be the numerator in your scale factor. Whichever triangle you wrote second should be the denominator. Since I did triangle BOW first, it'll be my numerator, and I did triangle YOT second, it'll be my denominator. Now we just find the actual proportional sides. You can use your x, substitute in, you can use your y and substitute in, but the quickest way is, if you already have a proportion or a ratio that's all numbers, we can just use that. 10 is in my triangle BOW, 8 is in my triangle YOT, 10 and 8 are corresponding sides, so my ratio is 10 over 8. I simplify that. 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and my scale factor is 5 to 4.